What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. So today, James and I talk about finding your flow state as a trader. And we come at this from a bunch of really interesting angles. I know that I always say this, but I think you're going to find a ton of value in today's conversation. It's not super long, but it is worth your time. So shut off Facebook, close TradingView, sit back. If you're driving, if you're running, whatever, sit back and enjoy the conversation. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Day Trading Show. Today, we're talking about finding your flow state as a trader. James and I haven't sat down in a couple of days to do an episode, so it's good to see you, bro. I know you were just on vacation. I was telling you, I've got a funny story for you to start the episode, but how was your trip? Everything's good. I know you're happy to be back with Amanda, yeah?
Correct. Yeah, good to spend time with the family, good to spend time with Amanda, and, just obviously refresh and that and reset, and then, be back at the desk. So good being back today.
Yeah. So I was practicing some yoga over the weekend here next to my desk, and there's a wall right here that you guys can't see. Sure. So I go and do my upside down inversion things on the wall. So I'm doing it, and I'm just trying to, I guess when you do it, sometimes you're thinking and then sometimes you're not thinking. And I was just upside down and I'm trying to hold it for like a couple of minutes. That's like how I'm building up my endurance. And I'm looking at my office upside down. And think about it, bro. I got cleaning ladies, so I don't clean the floor. How often do you go look at the floor? Like, you don't go down there very often, you know? So I'm looking at the bottom of my chair, the chair I'm sitting in right now. This wheel is literally like this, bro. Like, it's supposed to be like this, and it's like this sideways underneath me. And I never noticed it. Just sitting in it every day, I never noticed. Like, this wheel is about to break, bro. So what I was going to tell you is, as I just fell over right before we started, one of these days I'm going to be doing an episode or something, and I'm just going to collapse. Like, I promise, I'm going to just fall over. But I'm putting it out there now that is the reason why. It's not like...
Yeah, you're just going to sink into the ground. But you've had that chair for quite a while now, ever since you were in Philly, I remember.
This is, bro, this is the good chair. This chair has been with me. It's comfortable. I got this back support thing here too. So it's like not just like I'm sitting on a hard chair. I got one under my butt too. So it's nice. I enjoy. That's why I haven't bought a new one. And I can't really wrap my mind around spending $1,000 on a chair. I mean, I get that you use it every day, but the healthier thing to do is stand up. I got the standing desk. So I'm like, why would I buy the super expensive chair when I should be standing? Like, I know what I should be doing. You know what I mean? Do you have a standing desk?
I do have a standing desk, actually. So I also sometimes put my desk up. So in the mornings, actually, sometimes I'll spend the mornings, London session for me, sitting down. And then in the afternoons, when it gets to New York, I like to stand up. Because sometimes sitting the whole day is not really good for your posture. First of all, so that's going to mess up your...
Look at me, like I'm hunched over right now. You know what I mean? You're not exactly. Standing is just better for sure, and your lower back for sure. Welcome to the health podcast with Austin and James on how to sit in your office chair. But let's get into the topic for today, bro. So you actually were the one that came up with this idea. So like you brought this to the table, and I was curious as to like what inspired you to bring this idea to the table before we dive into it.
Sure. I think today, so obviously we're filming this because of the holidays and all that sort of stuff going on in our personal lives and Easter and all that type of things. About 2 weeks ago, I came up with, I wanted to do one of the topics, the next topic for our podcast on finding the flow state. I think a big thing about what I found with ASFX and Austin when I joined was doing less, doing it better, and doing it bigger. And I've been like narrowing down my watch list to really like be in sync with what I'm trading, the instruments that I'm trading, as well as just the individual pairs, whether it's, the pound dollar, pound yen, or the indices. Those are the kind of four that I'm focusing on now at the moment. But I found that when I'm more narrowed in on like 2 or 3 pairs for the day compared to 5 or 6 pairs for the day, I found that I've traded better because I'm more focused on how that pair is moving throughout the day. Whereas like sometimes I know some people are trading or watching or trying to trade like 12, 15 different Forex pairs. And obviously that's going to be a bit tough, right? Because your mind's just going to be all over the place. So I've always found, and I think what I wanted to speak about it was I've always found my best trading is when I'm in sync with my watch list and just in that flow state. Like, it's like, when you're playing a rugby game or sport, or like these days I play golf, when you're hitting the ball well on the golf course, you're just so focused. You don't have to really think about it. You just do it because you're like in that flow state, right? And that's when I think lots of traders will find that they trade better is that they're not thinking about it. They're just like so in flow with the market.
Love that. I want to start with that. Two things you said. First one, overthinking takes you out of the flow state. And you can notice when you're not in the flow state when you are overthinking. So I think it's like you want to, to stay on the golf example, you want to practice golf so much that you can go out there, whether it's competition day or just playing with your buddies, and it's like you're not even thinking about it. So you want to go almost the complete opposite from overthinking to where it's like you're doing it like it's the back of your hand. That's where I think the flow state is. And I also think that the flow state prep starts for trading the day before. Really, as we have been working with more traders in the Black Shirt Club and stuff, haven't you noticed how the off the chart behavior and off the chart habits seem to impact how that person comes to the desk the next couple of weeks? If somebody's family member has a problem, or if they're sick or whatever it is, that stuff seems to trickle into the performance. So I think it's important to like think about, like, are you taking care of yourself over the weekend to set yourself up? Let's just use like today as a Monday, for example, to set yourself up for a successful Monday and get to be able to drop into the flow state easier? Or are you doing things over the weekend and on Sunday specifically that are not setting you up for success? I was literally just talking to my brother-in-law yesterday about how, as you get older, you can't do it how you were when you were younger, and you could go out on the weekend, stay up all night, and then try to wake up early on Monday. It doesn't work as well anymore. The body does not function the same way, So I think even things like paying attention to that alone, it's like, okay, if my body is now acting differently than it used to because of time, because of age, we need to adapt and build a routine that lets me drop into that flow state as quickly as possible. And I think for me, I don't think you think as fast as me. I think I'm more quick paced than you a little bit. And I think that's why meditation makes such a difference for me. And I talk about it so much. Whereas for you, I know you still do your meditation and your prayers, but you don't go out there talking about it as much as me, because I think it's not that much of an impact for you compared to how much it impacts me. Whereas like that really helps me drop in. I trade the worst when I don't meditate before I trade. It's weird. It's just true.
And that's actually true what you mentioned. Like you can be very, like, even when you talk, like on the videos and that, sometimes you can be very, as you say, you think quickly, your mind, like you're very like, you can be very all over the place if you don't meditate. I've noticed that with you, and that's what you've also said to us in the Black Shirt Club and on the desk. Like when you're not feeling it, you've especially like the last month or so, when you're not feeling 100% like in that flow state at the desk, you're like, I need to back off today. Maybe let's go do some yoga or go to the gym, and I'll come back this afternoon. Like for me, so I've had a family member that's been sick for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it was leading up to Easter, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to actually like kind of take off a bit of time before Easter and then come back after Easter refreshed, because I was going to go back home and see them and that sort of thing, and then come back on the desk. I know for me that with that being in the back of my mind, I'm not going to be trading at my best during that time as well. I know that. So I was like, let me just take time off, come back refreshed and everything, and after the holidays, after Easter. So I think it's also like, and I like the tweet that you said today. It's about what it was. Let me get it up here. Actually,
did you find the tweet?
Yep, got it. So the tweet reads, so this was awesome today. It says, most traders get into this business because they want to make money. Very few traders realize how much of a journey of self-discovery trading becomes. I'd argue that the self-understanding that comes after years in the markets is more valuable than the finances that follow. And I thought that was really, really true, because, like, people get into trading because they want to make money, but you actually find out that you realize so much about yourself when you're not performing at your best. When it's like this is a sport, essentially, like it's elite performance. It's Mark Bellafiore says it like this. He says, trading is a performance activity. At some point, you got to perform. So it's not like, oh, well done, you're trying, you're going to do well. No, it doesn't work like that in trading.
Definitely not.
Yeah, it's the same as pro sports. If you're trying, doesn't matter how hard you're trying. If you're not,
you could still suck. Right.
You're not going to get a contract. So
exactly.
That's what I like to compare it to.
It is interesting to think about, because that's another point that isn't discussed enough. Not to get too off of the, flow state idea, but just people don't recognize that I think people do recognize it maybe, but they don't understand it, or they don't internalize how many people get into trading and aren't trading a year later or 2 years later, especially 3 years later. You know what I mean? And when I say trading, I don't mean like playing on Robinhood. I mean like actively trying to trade every day. It burns so many people out. So it is it is a very competitive and elite thing. But the funny thing about it, and I think this is why it is so tough, is because it's not competition. Like I have to beat James. And then there's a benchmark of like, I just have to beat James's return. There's nothing like that in trading. It's just you against yourself every fucking day. So I think that's why it's so difficult and why it burns people out, which makes you wonder, why is it so hard to conquer the mind? And then if you look at the thing I shared on Instagram today, what did Tim Grover say? He's like, your mind and your feelings are going to want two different things. You have to listen to the mind sometimes, especially I think as a man, you have to listen to the mind, and there is no room to let those feelings drive the decisions that we make. And you hear me say that all the time when we talk about trading. Emotions we can feel them, but the mind has to be stronger, you know? And I think if you can get the strong mind, what comes with that is the ability to probably drop into the flow state more. You would probably, if you took a group of people and you said, everybody here that has a strong mind, and everybody and could somehow delineate and put them separate, you would see that they could probably drop into the flow state better than the majority. That would be my guess. You know?
I read Tim Grover's winning book last year, June or so, and that's actually why we started the Black Shirt Club, as we always
shout out Tim.
And then I've just finished up his Relentless book, and in the Relentless book he always talks about your mind, and in winning he talks about your mind's got to be stronger than your feelings. But then he goes into Relentless, and Relentless he talks about how the good sportsmen, when they on the court, they notice that they got a high pressure situation and like the lights are on them. When the greats, when they're on the court and there is a high pressure situation, all the lights are on them, they don't even notice. It's like they're playing by themselves and they're just in that flow state. So he was trying to determine what's the difference between the goods and the greats.
That's interesting.
So the greats don't even realize that the pressure's on them. Like they don't even realize all the lights, everything's on them. They just,
because it feels no different than what it normally is. Now, that's an interesting thing to think about. So how do you replicate that in trading? I would say first thing, go ahead. You go first.
I would first of say like, when you start to manage more money, obviously that's like more lights are going to be on you as well. And the better you get, the longer you've been in it, the more content you share in that on Instagram and social media, and that the more criticism you're also going to essentially also probably take, as you figured out from your videos and you putting yourself out there. So I think that's one thing. But I think just, the lights should be on you every single day, and you should be knowing, are you in your flow state today or not? If not, cool. We don't have to play the game every single day, unlike the professional sportsmen. We don't have to play today. We can decide, okay, cool, we're not feeling 100% today. I'll step back.
That kind of goes into that guy Jared Tendler's book. The mental, what is that called? The mental game. Yeah, exactly. The mental game of trading. Yeah. So that's interesting. I think that the way that I was thinking about comparing it is like, so if you're a great in one of these sports, and in that moment of what we would see it from the outside is be like super pressure, but they are able to not see it as anything different at all. What do you think gets them there? Is like, first thing that comes to my mind is just practice, like exposure. Right. You hear people called, I saw a video of a guy talking about like, you're not stupid. You just need more exposure. So if you're a new trader listening to us and like, you're thinking like, I'm in my first year or two and I'm still, not where I wanted to be. Well, that's because you had expectations. So you have to drop those. But I think it's also, you don't have enough time in the game. You just need exposure to the game. Like that's so huge. I think I didn't understand that because I think you overestimate your own abilities. You think I don't need as much exposure. I'm going to do this faster than most. We're all that confident, which is good. You need the confidence. Yeah. But I think like the only way you get to being great at something is getting so much exposure that in the pressured moments, like you just said, it doesn't feel any different, bro. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel any different because you've been there so many times. It's the same thing. It's the same shot he's taken hundreds of times. You know what I'm saying? For Michael Jordan, exactly. Tim Grover coached Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Exactly. 100%. And that I think even goes on to say, Michael Jordan goes on to say that the reason he's missed, like there's a whole quote on it, but it's like he missed over 10,000 shots, whatever it was. He's 27 game winners or whatever it was. But that's the reason why he's successful, is because he's failed. And he says that he hates losing, but he respects losing because losing is a fundamental part of winning. And I like that what he said when it came to
so true.
He hates losing, bro.
Did you see him at the game the other night? They put him on
when
TV.
he walked off.
When he walked off. Yeah, bro, in the box. He was so pissed. Yeah,
because he owns the Charlotte Hornets
right,
now, and
right.
I think they got kicked out of the playoffs, and he was so pissed that he just walked out. Yeah.
Bro, but that's like, look at that's what there's so much you can learn from studying greatness. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, look at that, and like
100%.
His ability to still be that competitive this many years later.
And he's like 50. Yeah, he's like 55. 50 years old, and he's still so it doesn't change.
Like a competitive bone, bro. It just doesn't go away. You know what I'm saying?
I love it because it's crazy. Remember when they did the docuseries?
On Netflix.
What's it called again?
The Last Dance. Thank you.
So basically, remember when they were having an argument of whether he got kicked out of the NBA. David Stone kicked him out of the NBA because of the gambling problem. He said no, he doesn't have a gambling problem. He's got a competitive problem.
Right.
So it's like he plays golf actually to fix that itch. Like he needs to play. He needs something to be competitive with. Now he's even a owner of a club, and he's acting like he's the one on the court that's
for real
coach.
Yeah. So I think that the reason that that's important is just because like he is one of those greats, of course. And when you look at that and try to emulate that in trading, it's like, okay, but what made him great? He was willing to take that many shots. You mentioned him a couple of minutes ago, like how many shots he missed and how many games he lost. He's willing to be out there for that many games. That's exposure. Of course, natural talent plays a big factor in it as well, but he's out there with exposure. You remember Kobe Bryant? This is a little bit more relatable. Kobe Bryant used to be called a ball hog all the time. Everybody called him a ball hog when he started in the NBA. And over time, he got really good and people just stopped saying that. They stopped until his last game where he took every shot, but that's understandable. It was his last game. You know, so I think what was he doing in that ball hog? He was exposing himself to more shots, more angles, more ways of shooting, more scenarios, more practice that made him great because he had a lot of his natural talent meter was already really high. So with a little bit more exposure than the average person, he can succeed and become a great. Now, of course, look, he's the guy too that's early to practice. You know what I'm saying? For us as traders, who was doing markups yesterday on Sunday? I know you were with family, but I was at the desk yesterday doing markups, doing backtesting, putting work in, bro. I'm in the gym on Sunday night. You're not even getting there till Monday morning kind of thing. Exactly. So it's like you can tie a lot of this stuff that these other greats in other areas would do to be able to get into the flow state, because I think it comes down to like the original point here is more exposure, more time doing what you're trying to be great at will get you to not to into the flow state, but will allow you the space to drop into the flow state if you set yourself up correctly. It's not going to be like, all right, if I just put in 20,000 hours, I'm going to be flow state all the time. It's not like that either. Cause like you have to, and that's where going back to my first point was like the routine and the ritual kind of part of it that helps drop into the flow state as well. You know what I mean? I think it's not something that you can, for me, I'll just speak for myself. I don't know what it is for you, but like if I drink alcohol now, cause I'm not a big drinker, I couldn't go out drinking on a Sunday. Bro, I skipped a party on Sunday night for the lady who runs our yoga studio. She's leaving because she's retiring. And I skipped the party because it was till 7:00 and I didn't want to be out till 8, 9 o'clock. I knew Riley would stay longer and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm not going. I'm just not, because I'm not going to fuck up the flow that I need to start my week with to stay. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that little thing too. I won't go out drinking. I won't go out late on a Sunday. Like it's just not happening, you know?
100%. I think it all plays in. So for me, I only drink on the weekends. Like I'll have a couple of drinks when I play golf and that. During the week, I don't, because as you say, like it just messes. You can't expect to perform if, so that's like going to a rugby, playing one of my rugby matches when I was playing.
Exactly,
rugby,
bro. Would you do that drunk?
The night before? Bro, there was actually a bit, I had a big altercation with one of my teammates when I was playing pro rugby. He went out drinking the night before, and I found out about it. And after the game, he had an absolute shock of a game. I went up to him and I said, bro, I know what you're doing last night. You literally were drinking up until 3 a.m. and now look what you're doing. You're playing like shit. Yeah. And I told him, bro, if you want to play professionally one day, that ain't gonna happen. And of course, he's not doing anything these days with rugby.
Not surprised. Yep. You know, there's another thing we can definitely discuss, because we both know how popular marijuana has become in the last couple of years, especially for people that like our demographic is like 95% men aged 18 to 35. So everybody in our group basically smokes weed or has smoked weed, right? So at least once. So I would say for people that try to smoke and trade, because that is a big topic. And Vince, you got to clip this. This is good for Instagram. So for people who try to smoke and trade, because I was that guy when I started trading, of course, like a lot of people are, especially in America, it's very popular. I've recently learned that when you smoke weed, because it restricts blood flow to the brain, there's a certain area in the front of your brain that inhibits decision making by making you more confident, allowing your ego to show more. And without blood flow to the brain, that happens more. So when you smoke weed, because it restricts blood flow to the brain, your ego comes out more in your decisions that you make. And that can often lead to overconfidence, which can lead you to thinking that you're going to be right on every trade idea that you take. And I will openly admit that I was the guy that would try to smoke in the morning, do some trades, and I'd lose a trade, get back into another one, all because I think I'm right. And then when you look back at those trades, they're not even on edge. It's just the ego thought I had a good read and I could be right. So I think it's super important for people to realize that alcohol, like we were just talking about, marijuana, whatever drugs you're doing, most of that stuff is going to change the natural function of your brain and body. And that's not what you're trying to do in trading. I think in trading, you need to be clear-headed because it's already hard as it is. Like you wouldn't do brain surgery high or drunk, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So you shouldn't do trading high or drunk.
No, smoke after, bro. Do whatever you want to do after. Like, I don't
make your trades, have a good trading day, and then smoke, and then relax, and then.
What are you mixing the two for, bro? Like, it should be one and the other. You know what I'm saying?
I agree, 100%. Like, yeah, you as you said, you wouldn't go into a meeting as a CEO of a company how drunk. So why would you go into your trading office how drunk?
I mean, if you run a marijuana company and you're selling pot, maybe you're doing, but probably not. That's why you'd be a successful company, because nobody's getting high on the job all the time. The only people that probably get high all the time are the people that work at the counter.
But then again, they say don't get high on your own supply. So maybe
exactly, bro. Exactly. So yeah, I think like you have to be just very aware of the things you're putting into your body, even the food that you eat, the water that you drink, because those things are going to impact how easy it is for you to be in that flow state. Like another example I could think of is yoga. In my yoga teacher, journey thing that I've been going through. Yoga prepares you to meditate. Like it's built to get the body loose and limber and comfortable sitting in one position for a long period of time so you can meditate. They say that it's really hard to meditate if you eat a lot of, and they list a bunch of different foods. For example, sugar. If you eat a lot of processed foods, some people say if you eat a lot of red meat, I'm not too much on that, but I do believe that the sugar and the processed foods, if your body has a hard time processing something, it is going to make it tougher for your body to sit still and drop into that meditation. So in the same sense, why would it not also impact your ability to perform and get into the flow state when you come to the desk? Of course it will. The food that you're eating makes a difference in how you think. The water that you're drinking makes a difference in how you feel. It does. You're 67% water, and people are drinking 100%. Tap water, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. That's not good. Like your body is like a machine. Whatever you put in, it's going to produce. Like,
it's a great way.
You can't put in shit and then expect to produce greatness.
Bro, I got Riley doing kettlebell workouts in the house now because she don't like going to the gym. So I'm working her out in her office. I went, yeah, bro. And I said that exact same thing to her yesterday when we were doing it. I was like, this is the machine. And you have I said to her, I'm like, you have a great machine. Your body is strong. Like you're not overweight. Like you got the good thing. You slack on it 40 years from now, it ain't going to work that well. But if you take really good care of it now, not just working out, eating well, doing good things, like meditation is good for the brain. It produces, it creates more blood flow in the brain. So doing things that are good externally and internally, bro, I think make a difference in your short-term output in getting into the flow state, trading well, performing well, being a good person, whatever. But it also keeps longevity there. Like in 40 years, bro, I'm still going to be in shape. I'm still going to be running. There's no way that I'm not. It's just the way that I am. So I think like you have to just change. Like a lot of people don't have that mindset of like thinking down the line. I think that's the problem. And then if you start thinking about down the line more, you'll start caring about the decisions you make in the short term. Maybe you start eating better, drinking better water, drinking less soda, like eating good food. And then all of a sudden you start performing better in work, in trading, and you're actually a better person to communicate with because your brain is functioning better than it has, bro. Then you start taking some good mushrooms, like some lion's mane mushrooms or stuff. Your brain gets even better, and like it can change your whole life. You know what I'm saying? And I just think people think a lot of it is too much, too hard. Just take little steps. If you're listening to this, just little steps, you know?
I was watching a podcast. So I love Patrick Bet-David. I love listening to his value,
of course,
entertainment podcast.
Of course.
And he was talking on one of his podcasts the other day. I've actually watched it about 6 or 7 times. It's so good. He talks about it's the topic is the mindset of high achievers. And then the one thing he talks about when he went to a family function, who's a young boy, a youngster like about my age, your age, about our age, his dad called someone in Hispanic a gordo, which means fat. And the 3 people he named them. There was 3 people that his dad called that. He's like, Dad, you can't call them that. That's rude. And he's like, yeah, but they're gordo. And anyway, the two guys out of the 3, two of them are they weren't even that fat when they got called them that. 2 of them are a lot more fat now, and the third one is about like 100 pounds lighter and like flippant fitness addict. So it shows you that like what you do. And he thought long term, he's like, oh, maybe that's true. But it's like, and now look, he's actually a very high achiever, successful businessman. The other 2 probably
he's the rare one, bro. The other the other 2 was the majority. It's not
even. It just shows you like it's about finding your flow state. Is about what you eat, everything. It's about your whole routine. Just taking it back to the topic, it's not
gotta care about yourself, bro.
We're telling these stories because I found that for me as well, when I go through periods that I, maybe drink too much alcohol than I should, or I eat unnecessary fatty foods, it doesn't make me feel good. I'm like, shit, I need to go back to gym, and I'm not even like, I'd like to say I'm in pretty good shape, like, but it shows.
So imagine if you did that every day, and I think people just get really, they get stuck. So for everybody listening, like the reason we're talking about the topic today of finding your flow state, and now we're talking about food and diet and sleep and all this and being healthy, is because you can't expect to perform your best if you're not taking care of yourself. And again, like James is just saying, taking care of yourself means thinking about the long term. You want to think about how much money and how you want to be on a beach and blah, blah, blah in the future, but you don't want to start eating better and taking care of yourself now. Come on, what's up with this? You know what I'm saying? Like this needs to align itself better. And I think
your actions need to align with your.
I was just going to say that. That's exactly what I was going to say. You took the words out of my mouth, bro. 100%. Yeah. With the way we're trying to go about this too, you guys see like some of our trading podcasts have been so focused on like tactics, like use these EMAs, use this TDI, look at price action like this. This is how. But then there's this other side of trading that you don't really want to talk about, especially when you're first getting into trading, because you're just obsessed with the chart. But I hope that even if everything we're saying is not resonating 100% with you, we hope that we're just cracking your nut open, so to speak, in getting you thinking about, okay, there's more to trading than just a chart. You know what I mean? There's more to successful trading than looking at a chart. There must be, guys, because if there was just price action on a chart and that's all you had to do to make money long term, everyone would trade. No one would have jobs. So there's way more to doing this consistently well over the long period of time. And this is just one of those topics that, we can apply finding your flow state into trading. But even before we talk about how to get into the flow state and trade your system well, we should talk about, what are you eating? How are you treating yourself? How are you talking to yourself? And even there, like James mentioned, those 3 guys in that story, who are you surrounding yourself with and how are they talking to you? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Are they putting you up? Are they pulling you down? I think all of that really matters when you talk about finding your flow state. Because I think for me, tell me if you agree or disagree, it's harder to find your flow state if you're not confident. Would you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. I think the main thing in trading is about self-belief. If you're not confident, you're not going to do it. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right.
That's it, bro. So how do you increase confidence? Well, you don't surround yourself with losers. You surround yourself with winners. You listen to good audiobooks. You listen to people that put you up. You don't surround yourself with negativity. And with that confidence comes better performance, So I think a lot of people 100%. Should even audit who they're hanging around and who they're listening to,
It's harsh, but it's true. Like some family members, even I won't hang around with because they're just so negative towards me and things
bro.
And I'm like, dude, I'd rather listen to Patrick Bet-David for an hour and a half than go to that function and sit around you clowns.
Same, bro. Exactly. I feel like I'd rather go couldn't agree more, bro. And I hope people, maybe feel somewhat of that way about us. I'd rather go study and listen to successful traders talk rather than go hear about my aunt or my mom tell me why I can't make it in trading. I think that is the right approach. That's what we did, at least, But this has been good, bro. Let's wrap this episode here. You got any other closing thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think that's all.
Pretty good.
I think that was a good episode, and I just want to say thanks to everyone that's still listening. Just give a thumbs up and a subscribe, and we really appreciate all you guys for listening this far.
Yep. Appreciate everybody. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you in next week's episode.